Hey guys, be sure to press like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about adapt, improvise, and overcome in the Philippines. And one of the things I notice about Filipinos is they do really good at adapting, improvising, and overcoming issues. It's probably one of the best traits that these people have. It's really kind of phenomenal watching these people sometimes. When something happens or they need to get something done, they'll figure it out and they'll get it done. They're pretty amazing. And a lot of times when people go into poverty and with the current situation going on in the world, some of these people are seeing more poverty than ever before. They manage to overcome, improvise, adapt. And one of the subscribers mentioned that, I believe it was Prairie Mark, mentioned that they'll go from rice, and if they're not wealthy enough to buy rice, they'll switch to sweet potatoes, and then if they can't afford sweet potatoes, they'll go to cassava. And it's kind of true. They just have like this way of figuring out things and scaling it down and kind of making it work. And like the OFWs, a lot of the OFWs, the overseas foreign workers, I mean, a lot of these people have to adapt to really bad situations, and sometimes for small amounts of money, sometimes it's better pay. But when they go to some of these Arabic countries, some of these people are the most mistreated groups of people in the world. Unfortunately, in some of these Arabic countries, they get really, really mistreated, both sexually and in abusive ways. Not all of them, I'm saying in some cases, but in those countries, they tend to get abused more than in other countries. I've seen it myself. Even my girlfriend was abused while she was working over there. It's actually quite common in these places, and even by some of the expats over here. Some of the expats abuse some of these people over here, and it's very sad to see that happen. It's not often that happens, but sometimes it does happen over here. We see it. I've seen it before. I've seen it right inside the embassy, where some guy got really abusive with one of the Filipinos in there and started to ask to see an American. I spoke to that in one of my videos one time, and I had to say something to him, and a couple of the other Americans that were there had to say something to the guy before he finally realized that he was a little bit over the top and, tried to apologize and stuff like that. But by then it was already too late, But I mean, as Americans, there's a lot to learn from their adapt, improvise, and overcome attitudes here in the Philippines. And it's a good thing to learn, because as expats over here, you're going to have to do that, both electronically and through apps, to get money over here. You're going to have to adapt, improvise, overcome. And you're going to have to figure out ways to make these things work sometimes. I mean, like a lot of times we have banking issues over here sometimes, and sometimes they send us like a code or something like that. And we have to figure out sometimes to get these things to work. And one of the ways I learned, I just had to improvise. I called up the company on my Magic Jack, and fortunately they said, well, we can switch it to email instead of sending you a text. Okay, because like on Magic Jack, even though you have text, the banks somehow figure out, their system figures out that it's sending to like a Magic Jack. They won't allow that, so it just kicks it out and won't send text to you. Okay, but some banks do. I don't know why some do and some don't. I guess their security systems is different. But I mean, like, it's just examples like that. You have to always adapt, improvise, and overcome. And one of the reasons, I talk about this is because over here you need a backup to your backup, to your backup. It's just the way it works over here. And you've seen me talk about this in the past on just about every single subject. In the Philippines, don't expect your first try to work. It just, sometimes it doesn't, and right now I'm pretty good. I've figured out all the ways to make things work, and as expats over here, you're going to learn too. It's just the way it is. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because a lot of you new expats that are coming over here, be ready for this, and don't fear it. It's going to happen, and it's part of life over here, and it doesn't mean it's bad over here. It doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. But I mean, you're going to have to learn how to live over here and live a little bit different. And, adapt, improvise, overcome, And I believe that comes from a Clint Eastwood movie or something like that, where I think he was a gunny sergeant or something like that. I'm not sure. Somebody mentioned it the other day. So I and I had already put that up on the board to use that as a name for for this video, and I just thought it'd be a really cool video thing to talk about, because over here, those 3 words, man, they mean a lot, both to the Filipino people and to the expats over here. I find myself adapting and improvising and overcoming every day here on one issue or another. And a lot of times it's on computer issues or phone issues. And sometimes it's cooking issues, like you can't buy a certain product, so you improvise, and you just make it work. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it turns out to be a disaster, But when I watch the Filipino people over here, and I mean, man, you could get a car over here and have it be halfway broken down and not barely working, and within like a couple days they'll have that thing raring to go. I mean, it's just something I see over here. They do amazing things sometimes. I've seen them on another video. There was a sailboat, and they had something wrong with the generator, the wind generator, and I guess it was all worn out or something like that. They took it to this place that did they repaired car parts like alternators and things like that, and they fixed that. They fixed it for the people, and for very little money too. They thought they said it would have cost them, I think it was like $200 to $400 to send it out and get it repaired, and I think the guy charged them probably like $80 or $50 or something like that. It was real low money compared to what they would have had to pay somewhere else. But they redid all the whatever they had to do in there, and it was like brand new, and it worked fine. They said, and they says it was great. They were very surprised and happy. But this is the way things work here, guys, and it's it's cool watching it in play sometimes with some of these people, and sometimes you'll see things on the streets that that are amazing when things happen, or somebody needs to do something, or you'll see somebody doing something that's just out of the norm, and you'll be like, wow, I would have never thought of that, and you see that almost daily in the Philippines. You see something amazing, and it just kind of motivates you and makes you think a little bit, and it gives you new ideas and new visions, and makes you think differently about the world, because we in the United States, we're spoiled. We are really, really spoiled in the United States. And when you come here, you see how spoiled you really are sometimes. And, we take that for granted sometimes. And when we come over here, we bitch and complain, and for what? Just enjoy life, live it, and take in these new things that you see over here and new responsibilities that you have. And when you see a problem, adapt, improvise, and overcome, guys, because that's the way it is in the Philippines. But anyway, guys, God bless. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I thought it was kind of an interesting subject over here, and I thought it was kind of a cool subject too. And it's the way it is in the Philippines, guys, and you got to get used to it. And like I said, when you guys come here, you'll see. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care.